I feel blessed to have known Clive for about 20 years, not the 60 that Mike and John knew. So I was a late joiner to the Bridge Boys. My spiritual connection with Clive began in March 2011, 15 years ago. He and I were alone together for an hour in an inner tube, floating around a lazy river underneath a hotel in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, on a 4-day golf junket to get away from the Canadian winters. At the time, I knew that Clive's father, Claude, was very ill. So it was natural for us, together for an hour in this rubber dinghy, to talk about life and death. We discovered we shared a whole bunch of common beliefs, but I want to touch on just 3 of them. We are spiritual beings having a temporary human experience, with opportunities here on earth to learn and grow through both the challenges and the joys that come our way. Second, our spiritual essence is a soul that is eternal and survives the death of our bodies. And third, God unconditionally loves each soul, all of us, all of our souls, and nothing we do can separate us from that love. Now, of course, we can do things and make choices in life that get in our way of knowing that unconditional love. We have free will. But that's our doing, not God's. My father, Keith, a United Church minister, clearly believed in life after death. In 1987, 38 years ago, he was given a direct experience of that reality. The day after his brother-in-law, my uncle, Jack Naylor, unexpectedly passed away in a small town in Saskatchewan. Dad immediately wrote a letter to Jack's surviving wife, Mary Lynn, recounting this experience. We all have copies of the letter within the family. 3 days before Clive passed, I read to him a few paragraphs from that letter. And here are those words I read to Clive. This morning I sat meditating and was surprised by a stream of consciousness about Jack that flowed through my mind, and it seems natural to share it with you. I've never had anything like this happen to me before, either in meditation or when praying. I was seeing Jack's face, illumined with one of his relaxed, happy smiles, his eyes warm and sparkling, his forehead relaxed. In an unhurried way, he was ready for conversation. "You know, I'm surprised," he said. "I never expected to be here. Not meaning at this particular time, but ever, because you don't think of yourself as all that good. But it's wonderful, as though all the negatives are swept away, and you're basking in the spiritual energy of friendship love and married love. It's hard to describe it. It's so different from Earth." At Harold's funeral, Harold was Jack's father-in-law, my grandfather. At Harold's funeral, you, Keith, spoke about a spiritual body as our human effort to describe what it would be like after death. These words seem to contradict each other. But until you're here, that's about the best we can do. You're wondering how we put in our time here. Here his smile got even broader. How can I explain it? There isn't any such thing as time here. It's all now. A sense of presence. You feel surrounded by a love energy, and you are recognizing individuals as their best selves. It unfolds around you without the hurry of Earth. It's like being on a common wavelength with others, sensing them, interacting wordlessly, understanding them. Maybe you'll understand what I mean when I compare it to the deepest moments of married love and human friendship. At this point, I was sensing the loss of Jack to us all. But his response flowed on. Yes, I'm out of sight, but I'm not out of touch. It's hard to explain. You know, we used to talk about having memories of people as though memories were just in our heads. But believe me, the ones we're remembering are real. You'll understand what I'm trying to say when you get here. That was the end of Jack's encounter with my father 38 years ago. And while, like many of you, I have clear memories of people who have passed on, sometimes even dreams, but I've never had a clear and direct communication like my dad did with my Uncle Jack. When I finished reading that portion of the letter to Clive, I assured Clive that once he crossed over, because it was all scheduled, and I'll talk about that in a moment, once he crossed over, if he wished to communicate with me, I'd be open to that. He said, have a few witnesses, just to validate the experience, to make it real. As many of you know, Clive chose to end his 12-month battle with cancer with MAID, known as medical assistance in dying. He chose to have 15 family members and close friends present in the room with him during that procedure. 4 of them were there via Zoom from Florida. During our half hour together that last day, he asked each one of us, one at a time around the room, to share a few last words. We all did. It was a beautiful moment, when, for me at least, time stood still. We all joined hands. Then a few minutes after Clive passed, I posed silently in my mind a question to Clive. So, how is it? I got the answer. It's beautiful. And that was it, until 4 a.m. this morning, when I didn't think I'd hear anything more from Clive, despite being open. Upon awakening, I said, Clive, is there any message for the group here today? Because you know what's going on. And I immediately got a message for today. And it was, I am at peace. And I love all of you. I'm pretty sure some of you here or watching online, wherever the camera is, hello, may have had some sense of Clive's continuing journey, but still connecting with us here on Earth. And all I can say today is don't doubt those experiences, those nudges, those inklings, those connections. Share them with other people you know and love. That's the witness of that experience, the truth of his continued existence and journey as a soul. Now, meanwhile, back to the weekend before Clive passed. During 2 of my visits, he asked me to video record a few messages he wanted to leave behind. The messages to his grandkids, Lincoln and Walker. You saw earlier, John introduced them. Beautiful video. The kitchen, boy. In this next one, Clive shares his philosophy for starting each day, especially in his last months. He told me the context for this message was his concern that too many of us, me included, start the day completely distracted by opening up our phones. And he said this in response to that situation.
Today is a new day, and I claim this day as my day, because I understand it's my life, and I'm the architect of it. I'm also the director and the editor. Most importantly, the lead actor. So I ask that my mind be filled with clarity and wisdom, that my heart be filled with love, and empathy, and that I will look for good in everything today. That every step I take is taken with intention. And I ask God to grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Have a great day, Clive.
What a way to start a day. And I think Clive was true to his intention, teaching advice for all of us in the room. We could, I'm sure, all do with a little less phone and a little more intention on how we want the day to unfold that's before us. Lastly, Alexis, as well as a number of Clive's friends, shared about 100 photos available to be shown on screen today, which many of you have had a chance to see a good number of them. And they are so lovely, I happily offered to turn a subset of that 100 into a closing video for this service now. It's to the song that Alexis and Clive agreed together best reflected Clive's approach to life. It's called My Way by Frank Sinatra.